Good morning, students. Today we'll learn about the chapter 4 of geography, that is air. I'll explain you the important subtopics in the chapter, that is, the first one is the composition of air or atmosphere. It means simply the different gases which are there in air or atmosphere. Then we'll study about the structure of atmosphere, in which we'll study about the different layers of atmosphere, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. These are the 5 different layers found in the atmosphere. Then we'll study about the weather and the climate. The difference between weather and climate, and what are the factors which affect the weather and climate, that is temperature, air pressure, wind, etc. Then we'll study about the wind. There are 3 types of wind: permanent winds, seasonal winds, local winds, etc. At the last, we'll study about the moisture. Moisture in sense to say, that is the rainfall. Again, there are 3 types of rainfall: cyclonic rainfall, relief rainfall and conventional rainfall. These are the subtopics in the chapter. Now we'll start with the chapter and I'll explain you these topics one by one. Like first one is the composition of air, that is the air or atmosphere, as we know, is a mixture of several gases in the atmosphere which are of great importance to all the living beings surviving on the earth. Now first, that is the quantity is found in our environment is nitrogen, that is 78% nitrogen is there in our atmosphere, which is again very useful for the plants, that is for nitrogen fixation. Then comes the oxygen, which is the most important for all the living beings surviving on the earth, that is 21%. Third, the carbon dioxide, which is again very useful for plants as they prepare their food in the presence of sunlight, known as photosynthesis. There are also so many other gases which are in very small quantity, that is argon, helium, dust particles, etc. As I told you, nitrogen is very important for nitrogen fixation, which help many plants to survive. Oxygen, the most important gas for all living beings. Carbon dioxide, again, it is very important for the plants to prepare their food, and it also creates a greenhouse effect. This is the composition of air. Now next is the structure of atmosphere. As I told you, our atmosphere consists of 5 layers. The first layer is troposphere. It is very important and its average height is 13 kilometers. It is important because the air we breathe is found in this layer, and all the weather phenomena like rainfall, clouds, fog formation, etc. occurs here. Then comes stratosphere. In this layer, the aeroplanes fly, and it's free from clouds. It exists up to 50 kilometers. But again, in this layer, the most important thin layer is found, which is known as ozone layer, which protect us from the harmful rays, the ultraviolet rays coming from the sun. Then comes the mesosphere. Mesosphere is the next layer to stratosphere, which extends up to 80 kilometers. All the heavenly bodies are meteorites which enter the Earth's space. They burn in this layer. Then comes the thermosphere. The temperature rises very rapidly with the increase in height, that is 80 kilometers to 400 kilometers. And this layer helps in radio transmission, that is all the signals we get are found in this layer. Last is exosphere. Exosphere is the uppermost very thin layer of air, and very light gases like helium and hydrogen, they are found here. They float here. So this is the structure of atmosphere, consisting of the 5 layers, and which are very important for all the living beings surviving on the earth. These are the 2 pictures showing the different layers, that is the structure of atmosphere with the height. You can see it is also there in the book. Next, we'll study about the weather and climate. As I told you, weather and climate, they are dependent on different factors. Now, what is weather? Weather is a short-term variation in atmosphere. That is, like we say today it's sunny weather, or we say it's cloudy weather. That is hour to hour, a day-to-day variation in the factors is termed as weather. When we conclude all these factors for a long time, long duration, is termed as climate. As it is written here, climate change has become a burning issue worldwide. Why? Because we all know that is all the living beings are surviving on the earth because of this climate. As if we go back for 10 to 20 years, we'll see simply the temperature was, in summer the temperature used to be 40 to 40 degree. But nowadays the temperature in summer rises up to 47 or 50 degrees in some areas, which is not bearable. That's why many environmentalists, scientists, and the personalities, known personalities, they are focusing how the climate, how the environment should be saved. That's why we plant trees, we organize rallies, awareness slogans. So many things are done for saving our climate, because automatically it's going to affect the coming generation or the living people, living beings on the earth. So this is the weather and the climate. Now, next, the certain instruments which are used to measure the factors affecting the climate of a place or area. First one is thermometer. It is used to measure the degree of hotness and coldness of air or a body in degrees, that is Celsius. Now the temperature changes between not only day and night but also from place to place, area to area, season to season. Why this happens? This is because the rays coming from the sun is intercepted by the earth and is trapped, is known as insolation. That is, the trapping of the sun rays or heat or solar energy is termed as the insolation. Next is barometer, or you can say the air pressure. Air pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by the weight of air on the body or the earth. Simply, the air pressure, the exerted by, forced by the air on a body or earth is termed as air pressure. It is measured by the barometer. As we know, the air pressure is highest at sea level, that is ground level, and it decreases with the height as we go higher and higher. That's why in areas the temperature is high, which are above the sea level. So in areas the temperature is high, the air gets heated and it rises up. This creates a low pressure area. It is associated with cloudy and wet weather. Remember this point. As the area get heated, the air get lighter because of heat and it rises up and a low pressure area is created. It is simply associated with cloudy or wet weather. But in areas with a low temperature, the air is cold. It therefore heavy, and heavy air sinks down and it creates a high pressure area. High pressure area is associated with clear sky or clear weather. Now this high pressure area and low pressure area. In a low pressure area, the air heated rises up, whereas in low pressure area, that is high pressure area, air sinks down. As high pressure and low pressure area, the air starts blowing because of the circulation of this hot air and the cold air. And the circulation of this hot air and cold air starts blowing, which is termed as the air or the wind. Now what is wind? The movement of air from high pressure area to low pressure area is termed as the wind. We cannot see it or hold it, but we can feel the force, we can feel the air, as we can see the strong wind is so powerful that it can destroy anything that comes in its way, like the sailing ships, uproots the trees, the buildings, etc. Again, we had divided these winds mainly into three types. It's again given in the book. Permanent winds, the winds that blow all the times regularly in the same area or direction are termed as permanent winds. The example of permanent winds are trade winds, westerlies and easterlies. Now, why these trade winds are termed as permanently And why they are known as trade winds? Because in medieval and ancient time, when there was no technology like today we have, the sailors, the merchants, the travelers, they used to travel with the help of these winds in the ocean, because as we have studied, they are permanent and regularly flowing in area or particular direction. So they used to sail with the help of these winds. Now westerlies and easterlies, as you can clearly see, I'll show you the diagram. In that you can see where the westerlies and easterlies flow. You can see in polar areas the easterlies, in subtropical areas that is westerlies, both northern and southern side. You can see the direction of these winds. Now ITCZ, intertropical convergence zone. Here the winds change the direction. This is the portion near the equator. Now next is seasonal winds. They are termed as seasonal winds because they come at a particular time or area in a particular season. The good example is the monsoon, on which the whole of the country is dependent. Simply, the whole agriculture is dependent on this monsoon, because these winds regularly come after hot summers and they bring lot of water from the ocean. That is why the rainy season is there, because of these monsoons. Next, the local winds. Now local winds, these winds blow only during a particular period of the day or a year in a small area. For example, in deserts the hot winds blow, known as the Lu, or when we go near the beaches, sea beaches, the sea breezes blow, that is known as local winds. You can see in the diagram, it is shown, it is also in the book. The next topic, that is the last topic, moisture. Now what is moisture? Moisture is the amount of water vapors present in the air. When water is heated, it evaporates from different water bodies or from on the land. These water vapors are also known as humidity. The content of water vapor present in the air is known as humidity. When these water vapors rises up, they start cooling and condensing into small droplets of water, or clouds, are just masses of these water droplets. When these droplets of water become too heavy to float in the air, then they come down as rainfall or precipitation. Now this rainfall or precipitation that comes down on the earth is called the rain. The mechanism of the rainfall again is divided into three types, that is conventional rainfall, orographic rainfall, and the cyclonic rainfall. Conventional rainfall, it means, you can see easily the diagram in the book, the transfer of heat or heated air is lighter. It expands and rises up as a result of transfer of heat, and it cools. When it cools, the condensation takes place and the rains come down in the form of droplet water. This is on the land portion, on a flat surface. whereas orographic rainfall refers to the relief. Here, the dry air is forced to rise up along the elevated area or along the mountain side, and rising up to height, it cools. When it cools, the condensation takes place and precipitation is followed. This is when the air rises up along with the hillside, known as orographic rainfall. You can see in the picture also. Next one is the cyclonic rainfall. In the path of the cyclones in temperate regions, warm air masses converge with the cold air masses. That is, I told you, when hot air and cold air, that is in low pressure and high pressure area, when it starts rotation, these airs when mix, automatically the warm airs mix with the cold air and they condense and small droplets are formed and the precipitation takes place. This is known as cyclonic rainfall. Now here are the diagrams. They are also given in your book. That is the three types of rainfall: conventional rainfall, orographic rainfall, and cyclonic rainfall. Next, few important terms are there. As we discussed earlier, the atmosphere, it is envelope, that is a layer which surrounds our atmosphere or surrounds the earth, is termed as atmosphere. Again, we discussed the weather, the short term conditions of a particular area or a place for a short time is known as weather. When these are integrated or collected together over a long period of time is termed as climate. Then we have cyclones. Again, I told you cyclone, a small low pressure area with high pressure area in which the winds blow clockwise and anti-clockwise, because hot wind and cold wind, when they mix, they bring the differences in temperature and the wind start blowing. It is known as cyclone. Now again, the last topic, that is global warming, which is of great concern nowadays, because the increase in the temperature, which we know the different factors are there, because of the increase in population, more and more industries, development and technology, factories, vehicles, and so many other goods which are emitting or throwing out the gases which are harming the ozone layer, which protect us from the incoming ultraviolet rays into the earth atmosphere. That ozone layer is depleting day by day. So this is of great concern, the global warming, which can bring back the Jurassic era. That is, the temperature will be automatically so high that no living being would be in a position to survive on the earth. So we have to take care for guaranteed, that is, no other option is there or no alternative is there, just to reduce all the harmful or toxic gases emitting into the atmosphere. It can only save us, and planting more and more trees, not wasting the resources carelessly. So this is all about the chapter. We studied about the air, different layers, composition, weather, climate, rainfall, and winds. This is all about the chapter. Thank you. Have a good day.